of the reasons we also forget to finish the things that we start is that we forget why we started in the first place. So one key thing, if a person wants to complete their tasks, their goals, one needs to remember why they started in the first place. Because sometimes we start relationships, we start projects at work, and then distractions come along the way. And because we have not made the effort to note down, to engrave the purpose or the reason why we start, we get sidetracked by other sideshows that come along the way. That is just a part of life, that when you start things, other distractions will come along the way. But if you remember why you started, you are more likely to focus and finish, and therefore flourish, because you're able to remember why you started in the first place. The second reason or idea maybe I'd like to share that is from the book is the idea that life is made up of moments. You study for an exam, but there's a particular moment where you'd have to remember the things that you studied for. There are certain principles that you've been learning, but there's a certain moment that you'll need to implement those principles. There are certain vows that you've taken, but there'll come a certain moment when you need to practice those vows. So there are these big moments that come in our lives that we will be able to show up in those moments if we're able to remember why we start things, or remember the things that we have learned. So if one wants to be able to focus and finish and flourish, one needs to make a deliberate effort to think about the things that you want to remember. It would be great to remember all the data and the research that you've done for a presentation. It would be great to remember all the information that you processed for an exam. It would be to remember all the figures and the calculations that you've made to make that business deal. But this cannot happen if one does not focus or make a deliberate effort to remember the things that one needs to remember. So if you want to be able to focus, decide on what you want to remember. The other idea is, as far as life is concerned, there are things to remember and there are things to forget. There are things that can be unhelpful in our minds that need to be forgotten. The people who stabbed you in the back, irrelevant ideas about where you are going in the future. So it serves us well if we note and if we know what to remember and what to forget. So those are some of the ideas I try to thresh out and wrestle with in Focus and Flourish, particularly under the chapter Memories and Moments.